Bovine or cow collagen versus marine or fish collagen. I mean, Aquaman clearly consumes a bunch of marine collagen and seems to be doing okay for him. So what's the deal with this stuff? I think it's about time that we do a comparison on this because marine collagen is very expensive. Bovine collagen catches a lot of flack as being kind of useless. So let's really take a look at it. So first off, collagen is like the glue that holds our body together. If you're like looking at this video because you're wondering like what collagen to use, you probably need to know the basics. Okay, 30% of the protein in our body is collagen. I'll come right out and say it is important. It's one of the few supplements that I continue to take. Okay, I don't take a lot of supplements anymore. Collagen is added to my lifestyle. I think it's important. There are 16 different types of collagen in our bodies, at least. Okay, we might even be finding more. Okay, but 80 to 90% of them are types 1, types 2, and types 3, which is exactly what you're going to find in like a bovine collagen supplement or a marine collagen supplement. Okay, typically skin is going to be types 1 and 3. Okay, all of this is going to make sense and be important later on. Okay, tendon is mainly type 1. Cartilage is unique and more like types 2 and 3. Okay. Now, when you're shopping for bovine collagen or marine collagen, they are what are called peptides, okay? And these peptides are extracted from either their skin, from their ligaments, from their bones, or in the case of fish, sometimes their cartilage, but usually their scales, okay? Bovine collagen is predominantly types 1 and 3, okay? Now, that is a good fit, for lack of a better term, with humans because humans are mainly types 1 and 3, but it's not quite that simple. Typically, bovine collagen is touted as being good for the bones, good for cartilage, good for the skin, good for the nails, and that makes sense, okay? It has a higher amount of what's called hydroxyproline. Again, sounds like gobbledygook right now because it kind of is, but it's all going to make sense later. So bovine, higher in hydroxyproline. Then we look at fish or marine collagen for a second. Predominantly type 1 collagen. So at first glance, it looks like it's not as good as bovine because bovine has 1 and 3, type 1 and type 3. Marine collagen, just mainly type 1, but there's a huge caveat. Marine collagen is a lower molecular weight, which means that there's an argument that it could be absorbed better. But when you look at that first initial data on paper, it makes it very simple. It looks like bovine is more complex and better universally, and it looks like marine collagen would absorb better and could possibly be better for the collagen that makes up sort of our gut integrity. So marine collagen for the gut, bovine for like hair, skin, nails, joints. But again, it's not really that simple. We have to look a little bit further. And another thing to note, if you're concerned about sustainability and things like that, marine collagen is probably a little bit more sustainable and probably better for the environment considering how much it's discarded typically when you look at like fish and kind of that whole industry. So it's kind of nice to see that, but it is so much more expensive. Is that really sustainable? Let's look at some data here in the skin category first. Okay, there was a study that was published in the journal Skin Pharmacology and Physiology. Took a look at 114 women and it gave them 2.5 grams of bovine collagen per day for 8 weeks. Okay, at the end of the 8 weeks, they took a look and they found, wow, there was a pretty significant reduction in wrinkles. There was actually a 20% reduction in wrinkles after 8 weeks, just by adding in 2.5 grams of bovine collagen. Okay, that's really cool. And then they also found that there was a 65% increase in what is called procollagen type 1. Procollagen is like a precursor to collagen within the body. So you don't just consume collagen and it magically goes to where it needs to go. It's essentially deaminated, goes into the labral pool, and contributes to the formation of different helixes, which we'll talk about in a second. But the fact that there is an increase in procollagen is a very good thing. And there was an 18% increase in what's called elastin. Elastin, just like the name implies, is what provides elasticity to certain things, skin, to some tendons, and things like that. So very important there. And a 6% increase in fibrillin, which we talk about at another time. Okay, well, let's compare that to a marine collagen study. This one was published in the Journal of Cosmetic Dermatology and is a triple-blind randomized study. Not double-blind, triple-blind, really concrete style of study. This one, they took a look at women ages 45 to 60. They gave them 10 grams of marine collagen daily for 12 weeks. Pretty amazing results. At the end of the 12 weeks, there was a 35% reduction in wrinkles and a 24% reduction compared to placebo, which is kind of funny, right? Even the placebo had a reduction, 24% over placebo. Now, I have some problems with this because it's not a direct comparison. You could look at that and you could say 35% in the marine collagen versus 20% in the bovine. I'm going the extra bucks and I'm buying the marine collagen. But collagen in a lot of cases, especially with type 1, which we'll talk about in a second, type 1 forms of collagen, can increase more in the body in a dose-dependent manner. The more that you take, the more you might actually get a result from, probably to an extent. They took 10 grams of the marine collagen. They only took 2.5 grams of the bovine. So gram for gram, it seems like you actually might get more out of the bovine, especially when you consider the cost. Okay. The other thing is the marine collagen study was 12 weeks versus 8 weeks. Had the bovine group continued for another 4 weeks, could they have seen an increase up to approximately 30 or 35%? We may never know. We have to do some more randomized crossover design studies. Now I want to talk about joints, cartilage, and overall just assimilation, how it's absorbed. These are probably the most important pieces, okay? And I do want to make a note. Either way, this video is sponsored by Thrive Market, which is a place that you could go and get either type of collagen, okay? So there's no contrived notion here. I'm not trying to push one or the other. There's going to be places where marine collagen could work and places where bovine collagen could work, and I'm hoping to get that out in the open overall. So they put a link down below to today's video sponsor, Thrive Market. You can check them out. You can sort by different diet type. It's an online membership-based grocery store. So you can, get like bone broth, like Kettle and Fire bone broth, which is rich in collagen. Or you could literally search for marine collagen. They have all kinds of things. Or you can just do your regular grocery shopping there and just get keto foods, get paleo foods, vegan foods, and sort by whatever you want and filter. It's so easy to shop. And the link down below saves you 25% off your first order. Okay, so do some grocery shopping and get 25% off if you use that link. Plus you get a free gift when you do use that link. So big thank you to Thrive Market for the continued support so that we can do this type of content. Okay, so with the studies surrounding joints, it's interesting because bovine has the advantage because it's been around for a while and there are a lot more studies demonstrating how bovine works. Okay, there's not as much with marine. So we go back to the whole cartilage thing with the joints. Bovine collagen has types 2 and 3 in it. Okay, a little bit of 2 and a lot of 3. Okay, so that would imply that it seems better for the joints. Whereas marine collagen only has, well, it has 2 and 3, but mainly type 1. Which isn't even in cartilage, right? But that's not where it stops. You see, collagen isn't quite that simple. It's not like you just consume a type 1 and it only helps with type 1 formation. Here, let's break it down a little bit. Collagen is formed within the body. It's not just taken in and magically put places like I mentioned, right? So collagen is formed by triplet sets of amino acids, okay? Usually, glycine, followed by proline, followed by hydroxyproline, these 3 types of aminos, and they repeat in triplet function. So we have glycine, proline, hydroxyproline, glycine, proline, hydroxyproline. It does not have to be proline and hydroxyproline. As long as that first part is glycine, it could be any other 2 amino acids. It could be methionine, whatever. But generally, most of the time, it's going to be proline and hydroxyproline, and it's just repeating. This repeating structure of amino triplets forms what is called a helix of tropocollagen. Okay, a helix is like almost this like scaffolding. Okay, so then collagen sort of forms into a scaffolding which actually gives us integrity. That's why like our skin has scaffolding. Our cartilage has scaffolding of these helixes. So this whole tropocollagen is essentially the building block of the collagen itself. And it's a series of peptides that are kind of coiled together. It's just the easiest way to think of it is just like scaffolding. Well, it turns out that hydroxyproline is one of the most important pieces for this tropocollagen. So without the hydroxyproline, are you not able to form that supporting structure as well? But this is where it gets interesting because studies have demonstrated that the ingestion of just type 1, okay, remember that marine collagen is type 1, mainly type 1. Well, we used to say type 1 wouldn't really be that good for cartilage because cartilage is type 2 and 3. What good is 1 if you're trying to build 2 and 3, if that makes sense? Well, we've seen in studies that oral ingestion of type 1 can actually stimulate the synthesis of the extracellular matrix that makes up cartilage in the first place. So in essence, the collagen can actually stimulate the synthesis of the right kinds of things to form what are called chondrocytes, which are like cells that build collagen. So it's a whole process where when we consume different types of collagen, it kickstarts a process of formation. And even type 1 can still support chondrocyte formation and cartilage formation. It's really interesting stuff. Okay, so then we look into sort of the absorption piece, because this is very important. So now that we see that, okay, marine collagen could still potentially help with cartilage, what about like usability? So marine collagen is a lower molecular weight. So that sounds like that would be better. And it does make sense from like a quick absorbing standpoint. But then you have to remember that both bovine collagen and marine collagen are hydrolyzed. When it goes through the process of becoming hydrolyzed, you're already making it essentially a lower molecular weight. You're making it kind of instantized so it can absorb quick. So it is almost negligible. It's almost just barely a difference between marine and bovine at that particular rate. So again, it comes down to marine collagen so much more expensive, and it's mainly type 1. Well, that type 1 might be better for stimulating collagen formation in your body, and it's likely better for potentially gut health. Okay? But the bovine collagen still seems to be the winner, in my opinion, when it comes down to like cartilage and when it comes down to just joints. The last thing I want to look at is the overall just amino profile. Okay? And there was a study that was published in the International Journal of Biological Macromolecules. This was cool. It looked at bovine Achilles tendon collagen. Okay, it looked at regular bone collagen, and then it looked at fish scale collagen. Okay, and what it found was that the amounts of glycine were almost the exact same between all three. The amounts of proline, the next amino acid in line, were about the same amongst all three. But lastly, the hydroxyproline, and arguably the most important one, was twice as high in bovine as it was in marine. Okay? And remember that hydroxyproline is very important for that helix formation, that structure of collagen. So we have to make a judgment call here and say which one's better. I think that bang for the buck, okay, because bovine is cheaper, you probably get a little more out of bovine, bang for the buck. But marine collagen just does not have the research supporting it yet. Okay, we do know that it's type 1 and it might be better for overall synthesis in the long term. So I think a delicate balance of trying both is really what's going to be best for you. And seeing that the results are pretty quick in these studies, these dermatological studies, you might be able to notice for yourself, like you would notice a 20% decrease in wrinkles for yourself when you look in the mirror. So I would recommend taking a sample for a little while, doing 8 to 12 weeks of bovine, and then taking a washout period where you sort of reset for a little while, for maybe 12 weeks, and then do it with marine, or vice versa, and determine for yourself, because a lot of it may come down to our bioindividuality and how we each synthesize things differently and where we have given needs and deficiencies. As always, keep it locked in here on my channel. I'll see you tomorrow.